the new approach, that's what we call contextual security intelligence, or eCSI for short. And what I would like to give you is just a short introduction of what is the whole concept and what is this whole new approach is about. Before going into any deeper, any further into it, first I'd like to talk very briefly on why we believe there is a need for a new approach, why we come up with them. So basically, as you just look around in this trade show, or if you go on the internet and look around anywhere, you will see that there are a whole lot of new changes going on. Mobile, cloud, virtualization, social media, consumerization, and a lot of them, which are really changing the way how we look at IT and how we look at IT security today. Many of the things that we relied on, we built our IT security infrastructure, just no longer exist anymore. So for example, with the introduction of cloud and mobile, bring your own device, and you're getting many of those, it's very hard to define what's inside, what's outside. It's hard to define and build a firewall. Where would I put my firewall? Everybody's out there. What is inside, what is outside, who is trusted, who is not trusted. It's very, very hard to define all these parameters. Also with the kind of social and virtualization, all the systems become very more dynamic. So it's again very hard to say that, okay, I have my systems and they are working, they used to work before, because it's simply very different how we build our IT environment. Also, if we look at different IT threats like APT, and you can name many of those, it's just very much different how these are really built up, and it's very different what we are facing today compared to what we faced before. So basically, what we are trying to say that in 2014, it's maybe time to think about security in a different way, and the contextual security is just about this new way of thinking, which I would like to give a short introduction into. First of all, I would like to start with a very simple thing that I think we should take a consideration, namely that if we look at what are the risks any IT system or any company is facing, and we can see that there are many sources of attack based on some resources. But if we really look at it, then you will see that many of the risks, many of the attacks are coming from the internal, but even more many attacks are coming from the humans. Also, humans are kind of important concept because technologies are changing. There could be new technology next year. There could be another one in 2 years. But what's for sure is the users. There will be no IT systems without users. So if you want to build up our IT security infrastructure, we need to put the human into the focus. But also we need to take care that humans are not just outside as bad attackers, but also employees and co-workers. So we should keep an eye on those guys as well. So basically, if we look at today's IT environment, especially the IT security environment, then you will see that today IT security is very much focused about controls. We are using antivirus, we are using firewalls, we are using authorization, we are using two-factor authentication, and the list is fairly long. So all what we are trying to do is to prevent something from happening, and what we are trying to do is put another control on the user. You cannot do this, you cannot do that, you need to authenticate, you need to authorize yourself, and also it takes to a point where it's very hard in some cases to really work with. It's a bit different. Also, if we look at typically external users are the one that we are trying to control. Okay, we have firewalls, then we have another layer of firewalls, another layer of firewalls, and then we have our IP assistant, VPN, and so on. And then we have our internal users who we try to control to a certain point. But what's very interesting to look at is the balance between what control methods we are using and what observation methods we are trying to use. And I must say that today's IT security is very much control focused. It's very much about controlling rather than monitoring and observing what the users are doing. So basically, what we say that, and that's the whole concept, is contextual security intelligence, is to rebuild the balance, to put the force back to the balance. What we are trying to say that instead of building another layer of control or put another firewall there, let's try to focus on observing, monitoring what the users are doing. And at this particular point, it's very interesting that if we look at that, humans are in the focus. Humans are the ones who possess the biggest risk on our system. If I can not just control but observe what the humans are doing, what are the daily routines, then we can have a bit more balanced system. And instead of building up another layer of control, putting another firewall, putting another DMZ, putting another access control, another authentication layer, instead of that, we are trying to say, external users. Don't try to control them. We are not saying that through away your firewalls. There is a need for that. But what we are trying to say that try to put more control and observation. Try to find the right balance between the two. And instead of really trying to control in advance what a user can do or cannot do, try to look at what they are doing, and if they are doing something better, try to react on that. That could really give you more flexibility and more power. So altogether, there could be many benefits. One of them, by rebalancing your whole IT security infrastructure from a very control-based to an observation-based, you can decrease the bureaucracy of the system. You don't need to have change management and a lot of things, and you don't need to define many things in advance. Rather, you can rely on monitoring what's happening. Instead of controlling what the user can do, you can focus on what the user is doing, how the user is behaving. That's one very important thing. The other one, obviously, if you can decrease the bureaucracy, you can decrease the cost. There are less tools required, there are less maintenance burden, there are less error, which means lower cost on the long term. On the other hand, what you can increase is the staff morale. I think all of us have seen the situation where we wanted to do something, but there were some security policies which simply prevented doing our business. And all of us hates it. So instead of going to somewhere, ask for a new permission which is required, we can just work and feel the system can be sure that we are doing and we are on the right track. Also, it gives us the ability to increase the agility of the whole IT environment. We don't need to define everything in advance. There are things we do not know in advance. It's much easier to say that, okay, let's remove some burdens, let's remove some control, or better not to add more control, but let's look at what the users are doing. Let's monitor what they are doing. That's very important. Also, it can increase the security, and that's also a very important concept. There are a lot of attack vectors, there are a lot of threats that we cannot simply prepare in advance because we do not know about it. If there's a wall, then someone can walk around the wall, climb over the wall. But if we can put like a CCTV camera and we can monitor what the users are doing, in many cases this is more efficient. It's much better for the overall security picture rather than just building another layer of control. There is a very good saying by Chris Boyhart. He's basically the founder of the DevOps movement, that a good security policy prevents people from ruining their business, while a bad security policy prevents people from growing their business. So basically, in many cases, IT security is considered as, to put it that way, the business stopping department. In many cases, IT securities are the ones who say that no. I go there because I request, and what's the answer? No. That's not really how to help the business. And we want to help the business at the end of the day, but we also want to keep a higher level of security. So it's very important for us to build up an environment, build up a security policies that really helps us growing the business instead of saying no all the time, while keeping and maintaining an adequate security level. That's very crucial in that sense. Also, there is a very interesting finding, and it comes from criminology, that as the discovery rates, talking about any crime, let's say that car theft, for example, if the discovery rate of car theft is increasing, then I, as a theft, could think double or maybe 3 times if I want to really steal a car or not, because I will be sure that there is a very high chance that I will be caught. And the same theory applies to IT security. If I'm a malicious user and I know that I'm being monitored and the discovery rate of doing anything malicious in the IT environment is high, and I can be pretty much sure that what I will do will be discovered and I will be prosecuted or whatever the consequences are. So again, just by pushing our whole IT security infrastructure from control to observation or to monitoring, and by monitoring the user and maintaining a high ratio of discovery, I can actually prevent certain malicious activity from being stopped. Obviously, it does not stand from external attackers. They don't care anyhow if they are caught, because they have different ways to hide themselves. But it's a very good weapon in our armory to really changing my IP environment. Defending against firewalls is really a problem. Now, there are new technologies we are trying to address those problems. But if I can build up a monitoring environment which really monitors my users, what my users are doing in my system, then there's better flexibility in the system. I don't need to change those technology every day. And what's even more important, I need to be real time. I need to have information, not just what happened last day or last week or last month. I need it now, because that's how basically attacks are about. I don't have the luxury, the time to spend days analyzing it. So I need the information now. Now, with that said, basically the mission of building up any IT security environment is to collect evidence, collect information, and it's very important to see that the information needs to be high quality. We can collect a lot of data when we are monitoring what the users are doing, but if they are missing certain details, then we cannot work with them. If that data is not easy to use, then at the end of the day we will just sit on terabytes or gigabytes or 10 terabytes of data that are useless. Their worth is technically zero. We cannot do anything else. We can buy another hard drive, but that's not really action. That's not what we want to do. So what we are trying to suggest is collect information, monitor what's happening on the system, but do it in a way where we have high quality information and easy to use information. These two things are mandatory if you want to really build up an observation-based system. So how to do it? Obviously, and I think that's pretty much the same every part of the world, we have limited budgets and limited resources. The ideal world, we would monitor everybody to the last extent, to all the details, but we cannot do it because we don't have the resources, nor the money, nor the people, nor the technology available. So if you are trying to suggest that, and that's also a fundamental part of the contextual security intelligence concept, is to spend responsibly. Focus on what's really important. Understand where are your risks are coming from. So obviously, focus on the user, focus on the VIP or privileged users, because they are the main problem in your environment. And put most of your efforts in monitoring them and also controlling them. That's what about spending responsibly. That's a very, very important concept. Now, how to do it? How can we build up a monitoring system like that? Now, if you look around, and especially if you look around the last 10, 15 years, the number of information source on monitoring, on observing certain events, certain activities is low. Those are the primary sources of information. Now, there are different types of data, like we're talking about patient data, where we have a lot of information, compliance data, where we need to collect them in a secure way, trusted way. There are user data, which are also kind of interesting, and there are, of course, different types of user. How to address, how to tackle the problems with all these kinds of data. Now, the main problem with machine data is the amount. There are technically tons and terabytes of data. So at this point, if we want to build up the system, we need to have high-speed logging. We need to collect the information a high amount. So it's very crucial if we can, what is the throughput of the system? How much data can be processed? How much data can be collected and stored? For compliance data, the main challenge is how trusted this data. If I build my compliance reporting on my compliance analyzing on unreliable information, then simply the results were unreliable. So obviously I would be very happy to collect all the logs in encrypted way and store in encrypted way, but maybe it's not worth it, so I need to differentiate. That's about focusing. That's about spending in a responsible way. And also if I go down this monitoring funnel, then I will see that I need to filter. I cannot work with everything. I need to focus on what's important. So for user data, I need to filter it. I need to fit into my SIEM system or whatever system I have available there. And yeah, then we have another problem. Another problem is about what we call VIP or privileged users, whom are very hard and difficult to monitor. Let's try to look beyond logging, and there are a couple of problems with logs in that sense. So one of the problems when we talk about privileged users like administrators or operator or developers of my system, that logs cannot really cover their activities. In many cases, logs are simply just missing. There are so many applications which do not have proper logging implemented in it. If I have no logs, I cannot really monitor what they are doing. Also, in many cases, with logs, I'm missing the contact and the context. There might be an IP address, but who knows what that IP address belongs yesterday. There is virtualization, servers are coming and going, the system is very dynamic. Also in many cases, logs simply do not contain internal information. They might just say that someone logged in the system and logged out. What happened in between? Who knows? I cannot really work with that. It's not the high quality information I'm looking for. Also, logs in many cases depend on the user. If I'm an administrator of the system, I cannot really, or monitoring me as an administrator, it's hard to trust the logs because I can manipulate them. I can change how logging is done, simply disabling it or changing the bytes. So it doesn't work for certain users. And also, another problem with logs, it's very hard to understand. It's very costly things to understand. Again, we need information that's high quality, that's trusted, and that's easy to understand. And logs for privileged user, for VIP user, simply are not the answer for these problems. So what we are trying to do is that for those big players, for those very important risk factor in our environment, we need to do something more. We need to go beyond logging. And that's what we are trying to do, what we call like a VIP user, privileged user monitoring. And again, here the key challenge is to find the right balance between, again, control and observation. I cannot put another control on my administrator because he or she won't be able to do the job. So I need to find maybe a monitoring way and combine these two things together. Also another key challenge I think everybody is facing every day is to personalize every single account. There are users like root, DBA, and stuff like that. I don't know who is the user behind that. The game is somewhat lost already. We need to do it. We need to know who is that. And again, we need to remember that I need to focus on my risky user. And by implementing a monitoring system, I can actually actively prevent from high impact events from happening. So in that way, I can build up a system where I can monitor my users, I can get the details by finding the balance between the control and the monitoring. And this way, I know the humans, I know what the users are doing, and I can react on them and actually prevent bad things from happening. Last but not least, it's very important not to make their life complicated. Their life is complicated anyhow. We don't want to complicate their life any further. So what we are suggesting is to build up a system where we can actually prevent bad things from happening by building up an observation system. Now, how this could be done? And I wrote a very simple example showing how an imagined APT attack could be handled by observation. So obviously, in the monitoring system, we are looking at different events that's happening, which are not really interesting. And at a certain point, there is an initial intrusion to my system. Now, there are so many systems out there which try to prevent those initial attacks, those initial intrusions. But actually, the real lessons that we learned from APT, the main question is not if this attack will happen, the main question is when it's going to happen. Eventually, they will get into the system. On the other hand, it's very important to understand that it's not a high impact thing. Someone hacked to my laptop. I'm an administrator. They're coming after me. My laptop was hacked. It's bad? Yeah, sure, it's bad. Is it a high impact? Did they steal anything? No, they did not do it. So it's still important to keep an eye on that, but that's not the real tragedy. And then, of course, it's really penetrating the system, expanding the address, and transferring the photos, and the usual step of APT, which I think we are all aware of it. And then there is a high impact event when they exfiltrate the data. That's when they really have the high impact event. That's where they access the information, that's where they modify the information. That's the target of their attack. Simply, the initial intrusion is just a tool to get there. And to this point, if I can stop it anywhere, then I'm winning. If I cannot stop, then they get their goal. And obviously at the end of the day, they are trying to cover the tracks. So if I look at this, then basically I will see that usually what happens, I detect that there were some real problems. Some system detected it or I detected it in a different way. And that's where I'm using the typical forensics tool. I'm looking at my logs, I'm looking at all the data that's available, I'm trying to run a forensics analysis, I'm trying to understand what's happening. What we are trying to say, and that's the beauty, that's a fundamental thing in CSI, let's use the same methods, let's use the same tools or similar tools that we are using throughout the forensic situation, but let's do them in real time. And once we have high quality information, and once we have the information that we can process easily, it means we can do it in real time. So it means that down the road, observing, start monitoring what the users are doing, spot these malicious activities, spot these anomalies, and if I can stop them, and if I can spot them, then I have the chance to stop really the attack before the high impact events actually happening. So that's how I can build up and use observation to actually provide prevention and provide increased security to my system. So again, there are lots of challenges, and what you need to understand that many of these challenges are not technical challenges. By transforming the IT security environment from a control-based one to a bit more observation-based, or I would say a rather balanced one, I can really change the culture. I can change the company's IT security culture. I can make people more responsible. I can make people more security aware. Simply just telling them that they are monitored. They don't know about it. Of course, that's a question of success and failure. But so we need to look at legal liability. I need to advertise my discovery. And these are all the, I would say, soft facts or soft weapons that I can use and I can build up my system. So basically, just really to sum up what I was talking about, the real goal is to keep our eyes on the goal, which is prospering business. So we don't want to ruin the business, we want to enable the business. To get there, we need to find better ways to do it. So we're trying to find a way where we find the right balance between control and observation. That's what contextual security is about. And the next step is to set up a security intelligence, which is based on the observation where we can monitor what my users are doing, what's happening on my system, and instead of building up another control layer, building up a high-quality evidence or high-quality monitor layer, and by that, continuously in real time, tracking what the users are doing, you can actually prevent also bad things from happening. So this is pretty much what I wanted to share with you, and I hope I could give you an insight on how we see, let's say, today to the future IT security and what we believe how IT security should change for the better by moving from a very control-based security to observation-based one. And some very cool t-shirts, so if you're interested and want to chat with us, we have a booth down here. So come and join us.